To trigger a workflow with a webhook in n8n, you first add a webhook node to the canvas, set its HTTP method to post, and configure a unique path like /new order. That URL is your instant trigger. Once you save and activate the workflow, any external app can send a request to that URL, and your automation starts immediately. No manual checking required. This is one of the fastest and most flexible ways to connect n8n to services like Stripe, GitHub, Shopify, Slack, or your own custom application, because it reacts in real time. If this guide helps you get set up, please like and subscribe. It supports more in-depth walkthroughs like this one, and let's build your first webhook workflow. Start by opening your web browser and navigating to your n8n workspace. Sign into your account and wait for the dashboard to finish loading completely. From the overview page, click the Create Workflow button and a blank workflow editor will appear. The first thing you want to do is rename your workflow to something descriptive. Click the title that says Untitled at the top and type something like Webhook to Google Sheets Integration or Incoming Order Handler. A clear name makes it far easier to find specific automations later as your workspace fills up. Now click the plus button on the canvas to add a node. Search for webhook in the node selector and choose the webhook node when it appears. This node becomes the starting point of your entire workflow. It's the trigger that listens for incoming requests. Open the webhook node by double-clicking it and locate the HTTP method dropdown. For most integrations that send data, select Post. This is the method used when an external app like a form, payment system, or webhook service pushes information to you. The path field is next. Enter a unique endpoint like /customer signup or /new lead. This path forms part of the URL that external apps will send requests to, so make it something you can easily recognize and maintain. Once you've configured the path, you'll want to add another node to actually do something with the incoming data. Click the plus sign after the webhook node and search for the service you want to use. Popular choices are Google Sheets, Gmail, Airtable, Notion, Slack, or Discord. For example, if you want to save customer information to a Google Sheet, select that node and connect it. Inside that node, you'll map the webhook's data, such as name, email, or order details, into the corresponding columns of your spreadsheet. This is where you see the real power. The webhook node exposes the entire request body, headers, and query parameters, so you can pull exactly what you need. Now test the complete workflow. Click the Listen for Test Event button on the webhook node. This puts it into listening mode and displays a test URL. Use a tool like Postman, curl, or an actual app that sends webhooks, and send a request to that test URL. Watch as the webhook node turns green, data flows into your next node, and the entire pipeline executes. Check the output of each node to confirm the right information arrived and was mapped correctly. If something looks off, say a field name doesn't match, go back and adjust the mapping in your target node, then test again. Common mistakes include mismatching the HTTP method or the path, so double-check those settings if you don't see data flowing. If the sending application expects a reply, such as a confirmation that the request was received, you can configure the webhook node's response. Open the webhook node settings and look for the response section. Here you can return a simple success message, a JSON object, or a specific HTTP status code like 200 or 201. This is especially important for platforms like Typeform or Shopify, which need a quick acknowledgement to consider the webhook successful. Without it, they may retry sending the request, potentially causing duplicate data. Once everything works in test mode, save your workflow by clicking the Save button in the top right corner. You'll see a confirmation message. Next, locate the toggle switch near the top of the editor that says Intactive. Click it to switch the workflow to active. n8n will now generate a production URL, which is the permanent endpoint. Copy that production URL and update your external application to use it instead of the test URL. Remember, the test URL only works while the webhook node is in listening mode during editing, but the production URL stays live and ready even when you close the editor. After activation, go to the executions page to start monitoring your workflow. Send a few more real webhook requests from your external app, then review each execution. Look at the request data, the path the workflow took, how long each node took to run, and whether any errors occurred. For the first few days after deployment, check this page regularly. It's your main tool for catching issues early. Consider adding a filter or if node right after the webhook to validate incoming data before performing expensive actions like sending emails or creating database records. If your webhook URL is publicly accessible and the sending service supports it, add authentication or validate request signatures to ensure only trusted systems can trigger your workflow. You've now set up a fully functional webhook trigger in n8n. It's live, it's receiving data in real time, and it's executing your automation without any manual intervention. Use clear and descriptive paths for each of your webhooks, like /new order or /support ticket, to keep things organized as you build more integrations. And whenever you need to troubleshoot or review past requests, head straight to the executions page. It's your best friend for keeping everything running smoothly. If this was helpful, consider bookmarking or saving this video so you can come back to the steps anytime you set up a new webhook workflow.